Hi, I'm Gina and I'm excited to be a part of this month's 10-year anniversary kitchen. This is particularly exciting to me because I was with the kitchen back when it started in 2011 as one of the first coordinators. I also worked as the practicum instructor for a few years after I graduated, so I've gotten to see how the kitchen has grown and developed, and I'm just thrilled that I get to be back making a recipe with you all. So this month's theme is springtime brunch in 10 ingredients or less, and I'm going to be making one of my favorite springtime soup recipes. So let's get cooking. So the recipe that I'm making today is a fresh spring pea soup, which I love. It is both vibrant in color and in flavor. When people think of pea soup, they usually think of a dried split pea soup, but this recipe actually uses fresh or frozen peas, which keeps the flavor of the peas intact as well as the color, so you end up with a really bright, vibrant green soup. The recipe also uses some spring alliums, including leeks and chives, and it also uses fresh mint, which I absolutely love. The smell is so good, and when it's paired with peas, it just really adds some of that brightness that you're looking for. The soup is also really versatile. There's a little bit of dairy in it, but that can easily be omitted, making this a really accessible soup for anyone having dietary restrictions. It's a real crowd pleaser for sure. And the peas, since they're high in fiber and high in protein for a vegetable, it can make a really satiating meal in itself, especially if you want to top it with something like smoked salmon. Or this can make a really great component to any brunch. It adds some really lovely flavor and color to any table. So here we have the prepared ingredients. Here we've got our 2 cups of chopped leek, 1 cup of chopped onion, half of a cup of chopped chive, 2/3 of a cup of chopped mint, the fresh mint, 2 tablespoons of butter, 1/3 of a cup of creme fraiche. You could also use sour cream here if you have that in your cabinet instead of creme fraiche, or in your refrigerator rather. And then the peas, the frozen peas, I'm using frozen, you could also use fresh. And then some prepared vegetable broth, or you could just use water or chicken broth if you'd like. So we'll start with a pan on medium heat on the stovetop, add the butter and let that melt. Then we'll add the onions and the leeks and saute those for a few minutes just until they're tender. You don't really want them to brown, we just want them to be nice and soft. So it should only take 5 to 10 minutes. Once the leeks and onions are nice and soft, go ahead and add the broth or water and wait for that to come to a boil, and then go ahead and add the peas. Once the peas are in there, go ahead and add the salt and pepper, then bring the pot back up to a simmer and let the peas cook for about 3 minutes, just until they're tender, but not too long because we don't want to lose that beautiful green color. Once the soup is done cooking, take it off the heat and mix in the chives and the mint. Let the soup cool for just a couple of minutes, then working in batches, add it to the blender and puree until smooth. If you have an immersion blender, you could also use that instead. Add the pureed soup back to the pot and add just a little bit of water to thin the consistency. The starch in the peas will often make the soup a little bit thicker once it's blended. Then season to taste with salt and add the creme fraiche and mix until it's fully combined. If you prefer a chunkier texture, you can also blend the soup a little bit less. So now the soup is all done. You can gently warm the soup a little bit more if you like it hot, or serve it at room temperature. It's good either way. Dish it up into bowls, and then I like to garnish it with just a little bit of creme fraiche, a little drizzle of olive oil, and then some chives on top. And here's the final result. I like to eat it with just a couple slices of really nice rustic sourdough bread too. So that's how you make the fresh spring pea soup. Thanks for watching. I hope that you make it and enjoy it as much as I do. Stay tuned for more announcements from the community kitchen for future themes and future recipes and more videos. Thanks for watching.